bring him in for our weekly visit. The one and only Ian Beckles. What's going on, brother? How are you?
Wagwan. How you
What?
doing, dude?
I like that hat, man. Chainbow.
Chamber reverse style. Bam. You see me?
Nice. Did you get
Yeah,
that
man.
today?
Yesterday I got a hand delivered. You
Nice.
know.
How's the team looking?
Uh,
We're looking. We're looking.
I'll be
We're
honest with
looking.
you, Jay. We're actually very talented at the skill positions. So we have a good young quarterback. We got some
Nice.
good receivers. We got some good skill players. As far as the line goes, can't quite say the same. We just don't have
Right.
a lot of players that have ever played the line. So I wish I could say, like last year at this time, I was humming and hawing, but I had returning starters
Right.
that knew how to play offensive line. I just had to kind of refine them a little bit. This year, I'm literally giving a nasty lump of
Yeah.
discombobulated clay, and I got to make something out of it. So we'll see.
I think so. Is sometimes that better though because you have no bad habits, or is it just no?
Nope.
Not you want
Mm,
something?
Yeah, you got to have something to mold. When I
Yeah.
have to teach kids their stance, like today I was at practice and I had to stop 5 kids and go, "That's not a stance."
Hmm.
Like their foot is ahead and their right hand is ahead, and I'm like, these are things I learned this when I was 7.
Right.
So when you get to this point and your kids are 16, 17 years old, and you got to teach them the right stance, the odds of them becoming a good football player are not great.
Beck, we just got the news here a couple of days ago that Simeon Rice is going into the Buccaneers Ring of Honor. I'm heading over to One Buck here in a little bit. Just talk about that decision from the Buccaneers. I mean, one of the best pass rushers that this franchise has ever seen. Borderline Hall of Famer, but don't know if he'll get in. But he's definitely getting into the Ring of Honor, and I know there's a lot of people here in the Bay Area very happy about that.
Well, Simeon, you're saying one of the better pass rushers the Bucs have ever seen. He's one of the better pass rushers that the league has ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was in Philadelphia, he was in Arizona, and Trey Thomas was our left tackle, and he was a rookie. And Trey Thomas, he wasn't quite Tristan Wirfs good, but Trey Thomas was really
Yeah.
freaking good. And I remember Simeon Rice being the only guy that had just had him his lunch his rookie year, and he just didn't have an answer. So by the time Simeon got here, I knew what kind of player he was, and you put him beside Sapp, and like Sapp doesn't need nobody, but Simeon makes him better. With Simeon out there, it just had a lot for people to deal with. So I'm okay with him going in the Ring of Honor, and in a lot of ways, he was underrated.
What is there a player out there that you look at and said they aren't in the Ring of Honor that should be?
Yeah, Tony Mayberry one,
Mm-hmm.
Martin Gramatica maybe another one. Those are just two that go off the top of my head.
Grammatic is not in the Ring of Honor.
No, because I know that Mike Calta for sure has been pushing to get Grammatica in the
Wow.
Ring of Honor. Yeah, that's a fact.
That's surprising, no?
I mean, what do we know what the parameters are to go in? Okay,
Right.
because Tom Brady's going to go in, right? What
Right.
did he play here? 3 years. I mean, is it just the Super Bowl? Tony Mayberry started here for 9 years. Grammatica is one of the more, well-known players. So it's a little bit of popularity, but I don't even know how where they even start. To be honest with you,
Yeah, I mean 99 to 2004. I mean 6 years. I mean,
6 good
and
years too.
yeah, I mean, and also a guy too, like, doing this. He's on the Spanish broadcast. Like, he's a great guy. Like, I mean, you want to talk about Ring of Honor, you can kind of stretch it a little bit as far as like not just numbers, right? How the guy is. Like, you're allowed to kind of change. This isn't the Hall of Fame, right? The Ring of Honor. I mean, you have owners in there, you have coaches in there, so I think changes a little bit. But yeah, I think Martine should definitely get in there as well. I saw something today with Frankie Louvu, the linebacker from Washington, saying that the tush push is kind of a cheapy play and it should be banned. And we're having more and more of that discussion. I know we talked about this a couple months ago, but what do you make of a linebacker? And it's a pretty good one too for a good team in Washington, saying that it's kind of a cheapy play. Because obviously he's going against it twice a year in the
Yeah.
division.
Well, I mean, if I'm a coordinator and offensive lineman for the Philadelphia Eagles, um, I'm elated to know that linebackers from other division,
Right.
foes hate a play that we run and we're so good at.
Mm-hmm.
All that tells me is that they can't figure it out. So when you can't figure something out, you're going to see it more. So my whole thing is this, okay? we're all able to grab all of the Philadelphia Eagle film, every bit of it,
Mm-hmm.
and find out what they're doing. Uh, I'm gonna compare it to this. I'm gonna compare it to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's skyhook. Fuck you if you don't like it.
Right.
Do
Mm-hmm.
it. You can do it. Go ahead and do it.
Yep.
So if anybody, there's nothing that says everybody can. You could put Vita Vea and that new fat son of a gun that came from Florida and a bunch of guys in there and just whirl holes. You can do anything you want, but nobody else can do it. So I think for me, I would ask you the question: if it's just the technique that everybody hates, because that seems like what everybody hates is the technique. Who else can do it? Because who else has a quarterback that squats 600 pounds? We
Right.
don't. I don't know any other quarterback in the league that squats 600 pounds. So get you a quarterback who's a field general that can throw the ball and squat 600 pounds, and you could do it too. They just don't exist.
How much would you love the tush push if you were playing?
It's funny. I just like to run the ball, period. Okay. If we
Mm-hmm.
run the ball, if we do tush push 10 times in a row, that's my game. But I heard it from a different perspective. Tony Mayberry, who obviously I just of the aforementioned should be in the Ring of Honor, he was like, as a center, it's god awful. And I never really thought about it, but
Right.
a center can't get as low as me. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible. You couldn't snap the ball. So he has to be somewhat upright, and everybody else is barreling. I just, it's a lot coming at you.
Yeah.
Okay. There's four defensive linemen. There's linebackers all pushing into you. Somebody's pushing on you. Kelsey retired right soon after the tush push.
Yeah.
The center for the Eagles, I believe, had a bad back. So is it something to do with the tush push? I don't know. But for me as an offensive lineman, you can't run the ball enough. I mean, if we don't ever throw the ball, I'm good.
Yeah. You're good with that. That's what you want.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of contracts, Brock Purdy just got paid
Yeah, he did.
$265 million deal
Yeah.
with the 49ers. I mean, this dude, Mr. Irrelevant to $265 million. What do you make of the Brock Purdy deal? Do you think, I don't want to say was he worth it, but I mean, man, you're talking about a team that you're starting to lose some pieces here. I'm very intrigued with San Francisco because this team is changing. No Deebo Samuel anymore. Trent Williams is getting older. Fred Warner's getting older. Some of these guys on defense have gone to different spots. Like, I have good coach in Shanahan, but you just paid your guy. Part of the reason why they were able to keep all those other guys is because Brock Purdy wasn't making jack shit. Now he's making over $50 million a year. What do you make of the contract? Do you think that's going to inhibit them from building a pre-mill roster to stay amongst the elite? Because I think we even saw it last year. They took a step back big time. And there's other teams in the NFC that are, I mean, you look at some of these teams in the NFC, Detroit's there. You know, the Eagles are there. The Redskins are building. The Bears are building. The Vikings are building. The Packers are building. And it's just like you see all these other teams going in one direction, and it looks like San Francisco is going in the opposite.
Well, if you ask me, is it going to hold them back? The answer is yes. Okay, because the long and short of it is, if you have a quarterback that's making $5 million playing like Brock Purdy,
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's a bargain like you can't believe. If you have a quarterback that's worth $50 million playing like Brock Purdy, people are going to start questioning him. Okay, because $50 million is supposed to come with a Super Bowl or appearances
Right.
and stuff like that. You were talking earlier about Mr. Brisebois, who kind of gets a pass. It's funny how you can take these one organization or the other two organizations, and then they could do the same thing and they're all going to be perceived differently. I
Right.
think it's the same with an NFL quarterback, because sometimes I hear people judge and rate NFL quarterbacks and I don't know what they're watching. Okay, I heard somebody the other day go, Brock Purdy is so mid. His statistics are not mid. They're
Mm-hmm.
not. Okay, I've heard people say Justin Herbert's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Like, what would make you think that? I've heard people say that Lamar Jackson's overrated. What are you watching? So,
Mm-hmm.
my boy Kyler Murray, he's a great quarterback. Like, quarterback position is a tough thing, to evaluate because 10 people could watch Kyler Murray, I don't think Kyler Murray's a great quarterback. I've
Mhm.
never really seen him play great. No, I do know that he may do okay in fantasy because he may run for a touchdown and get some rushing yards. At the end of it, he doesn't win, and in crunch time, he's never showed up. Justin Herbert could be the same damn thing. How many years are we going to watch Justin Herbert and say
Right.
he's good, and for him not to do anything?
Right.
So it's one of those things where the perception and the way people look at others is crazy. But to me, Brock Purdy, if Brock Purdy if he was Lamar Jackson and was well, Lamar Jackson's not a great example because he wasn't a high draft pick. If he was like Baker Mayfield, when Baker Mayfield got into the league, he was almost a bust.
Mhm.
And then when you fail and come back and play good, forget about great. He's never played like the first pick in the draft. But now it feels like we got a steal because we got him off the chassis. But when
But it
he
wouldn't
first,
be, yeah. It wouldn't
you
be
know what I'm
like that
saying?
if we
So
drafted him number one. Yeah.
exactly. So it's one of those things where Jameis Winston wasn't a terrible quarterback. He wasn't a good quarterback. But if he was a sixth or seventh rounder, we'd be talking highly about Jameis Winston. So a lot of times the way you're picked, where you're picked, is a perception of somebody when you should actually just evaluate their film and how they compare to other people at the same position.
Yeah, and I think you say where they get drafted. I think you look at the Baker. I think it's to take it a step further. I think it's how you get on the team,
Yeah.
right? Because like
Yep.
we don't look at Baker as the number one overall pick here because the Bucs didn't draft him.
Correct.
We look at Baker Mayfield as the guy that was like it went down and up. And you just mentioned Justin Herbert. I looked it up. Daniel Jones has more playoff victories than Justin Herbert.
There you go.
Think
But
about
Daniel
that.
Jones is god awful, and Justin Herbert is this guy. He's going to make 45 million. It's weird, but not saying Daniel Jones is good. I just hear too many people saying Justin Herbert's good, and he might have a great arm, and he might have great pocket presence or whatever, but it doesn't equate to victories.
Well, it hasn't yet. And then
No,
that's the thing too, is like the narrative does change, right? Because if we were having this discussion 5 years ago about Baker Mayfield, you're like, wow,
yeah,
that's not gonna work. That's and I'm just thinking about the quarterbacks this year, like who can change their narrative the most. And it's tough to think about that. And I think you just mentioned him. I think Justin Herbert's probably the guy this year. You have Jim Harbaugh now, another year, another draft, another free agency. Like there's some put up or shut up years coming up for NFL quarterbacks. And I think you just mentioned two of them. I think you could add Trevor Lawrence to that list because
oh,
Trevor Lawrence is another guy, right? There's a lot of, I mean, outside of the guys that are at the top of the heap, right? Outside of the Burrow, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. I'd even put Baker Mayfield. Like, I don't even know. Like, I don't know if Baker, and I'm not saying he's at that level, but I don't
mhm.
know if I don't know if necessarily Baker Mayfield's in a prove it year, right? Do you agree with
No,
that? I don't
no,
think he's in a
I agree.
prove it year. I think he's just been, you kind of know what he is, and the Bucs like him, and you go from there. I think he's a notch above a lot of these other guys, right? I don't look at, you know, Jaden Daniels and think it's a prove it year. It's his second year in the league. Like, is he going to regress? Maybe, probably. It's just the way it goes. But if he does, nobody's going to be surprised. I still think he's a franchise quarterback. But there's these quarterbacks in the league that you just mentioned. I added Trevor Lawrence to the list where did all of them get? No, Lawrence is number one overall. Murray's number one overall. Herbert got picked a little bit later but those are three first round picks, Ian, that do we really know who they are? Do we really know? Like, if you told me going into the season that the Chargers somehow, because of their coach, and they go to the AFC Championship game and Herbert plays really well, and you're like, hey, that's a step in the right direction. Okay, that's what he's
Yeah,
supposed to do. But if he does it again and he makes the playoffs, or he misses the play, or they lose in the first round, I'm not going to be surprised either. I mean,
yeah.
it takes a while to judge these quarterbacks, but I think there's a lot of prove it years because, I mean, you've been watching this game for a long time. What do we really know about Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, and Kyler Murray as far as what they are as a quarterback in their totality? I still think the book is yet to be written, and it's certainly, I don't think great.
Well, Trevor Lawrence to me is another guy that makes me shake my head and wonder why the hell you pay him that much money. Because once again, I just don't see the intangibles of a winning NFL quarterback. I see a good-looking young kid that may be marketable. He may sell some jerseys, but on the football field, I don't see him doing a lot to make everybody around him better. Kyler Murray is the same way because Kyler Murray is that dime piece that can't cook. You know, he's that pretty girl at the club
10
that
to a 7.
you can pick them up, but they ain't worth for shit. Like to me, Kyler Murray looks great looking playing shitty. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like he'll spin off of two guys and do this and do his little bitty feet moving, and
Mhm.
he'll make some amazing athletic plays. But is he a good quarterback? How often does he come back in the pocket within the system and deliver the football? I don't see him doing that often. The other name I would put in this little list is Bryce Young. Okay, when he came out, he was this highly sought after guy. He's supposed to be the shit. Played like shit his first year, or maybe his first 2 years, maybe 1 year. I don't really know. Last year, showed glimpses in maybe 3, 4
Yeah.
games. All of a sudden, he's up and coming. What? You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
what has he done to make you think that he's good now? He's not. He hasn't won anything. So just because you have little stints of looking good in a game doesn't tell me anything, especially if you pick that high. And quarterbacking, if Jameis Winston, I hate to use Jameis as an example because he's a wild card. He's out there. But somebody like we'll use Baker Mayfield as an example. If Baker Mayfield was drafted on a team with great leadership, great offensive line, a running back, he doesn't have to be the leader on his team. He may be talking about Hall of Fame. I'm being serious about that because now you can get comfortable somewhere. You can, you stick your tent poles down. This is my spot. He hasn't been able to do that till his 6th year in the NFL. So what happens as you grow as a player has a lot to do with the way you develop. Because we're looking at Baker now, and he seems to be progressing even this late in his season, in his career. Imagine he would have done that early in his career. I just don't think he had the ability to do it.
You think Aaron Rodgers is going to play for the Steelers this season?
I mean, listen, Jay, you know what I think of Aaron Rodgers, and
I'm not asking you because I don't want to
I
ask you
know,
if you think he's going to be good, but
I know,
I feel like you're going into the season with Mason Rudolph and I think who was it, Will Howard or somebody, like
yeah.
they got to be waiting for Aaron Rodgers, and I just it's a weird thing that Mike Tomlin and the
Mm.
Steelers team is seemingly putting all their eggs in this basket of Aaron Rodgers, because even if he does, come in on his white horse and
Yeah.
think he's going to save the day, like I just don't know how this is going to work out for Pittsburgh.
Well, I'm going to say this, Jay. Once again, I'm not on Team Aaron Rodgers by any means. I mean, to
Mhm.
me, he's the number one guy. I just can't stand him. There's nothing about Aaron Rodgers that I could stand. But anybody who's even an Aaron Rodgers fan or a detractor, it doesn't matter. But you have to admit what I'm about to say. Regardless of the year and the situation, Aaron Rodgers makes sure you're going to talk about him all the fucking time.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know. We've been talking about Aaron Rodgers since the last play of the season.
Hmm.
The whole way through. It's crazy. Every offseason, we have to talk about Aaron Rodgers, ayahuasca, not showing up to minicast, blah, blah, blah. It's never good. And everybody tries to explain how he's still good. When's the last time he was great? I don't get it. He's another guy. He talks a great game and he goes on shows and he's marketable and blah, blah, blah. But when I see him on the football field, I see Tom Brady at the end of his career. That's what I see. I see somebody not trying to get hurt, not taking chances, not throwing bad balls, throwing balls away to not make himself look bad. I just see somebody who's holding on and still telling us he's good, because I haven't seen Aaron Rodgers be great now. It seems like it's been half a decade.
Yeah, it's been way too long. What's going on at the Dignitary Cafe, brother?
Well, brother, we hustling every day. Actually, this Memorial weekend coming up. I'll have my girl Sandy. I don't know if you've met Sandy yet, but she has a food truck and she has some of the best food in the Tampa Bay area. Best fish and grits,
Really?
best shrimp and grits in the Tampa Bay area.
I
So
got to check
she's
that
gonna
out.
have yeah, man. She's gonna have her food truck here for
When?
Memorial
What
Day
days?
weekend, Saturday through Monday. So if
Nice.
anybody's in the South Tampa area, Dignitary Cafe, 4817 Southwest Shore. We're gonna have a little food truck in the back. So you come through, eat, have some kava and kratom. We have soft drinks and coffee, but just come get some wonderful food and enjoy the holiday. You got to come by, man.
Yeah, I'll definitely be by. No doubt about it, my friend. All right, my brother. Thank you so much. I'm only doing an hour show today because I'm actually gonna go check out Simeon over at One Buck because he's getting honored. They're doing the big announcement and everything. So I'm sure all the other dignitaries and everybody will be there. So I
Tell
appreciate you, brother.
Simeon, tell Simeon
Yeah.
I say what's up. I thought me and him weren't all that good for a while, and then we met up at some event, and I was kind of G'd up. He looked at me and he goes, "You got some flavor," and I said, "So do you." And that was
Flavor.
it. So that we kind of bonded that way. So I think me and him are cool.
Hey, the flavor of Tampa Bay never ends.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, my brother. Thanks, buddy.
All right, bro. Playboy.
See ya.